Okay. So first I'm going to start from last week. We had talked about, I wish Kim was on because we had talked about a book that Kim was reading, and then, oh, I don't remember, was it Amanda? I think also had read about eating carbs and protein together. And in Kim's book, it sounded like it was more of a weight loss thing. And then in Amanda's scenario, it was more of a diabetic scenario. So I did a little more reading because I hadn't really, I mean, I know in, Ultimate Portion Fix and in 2B Mindset, we do eat those things in the same meals to have balanced meals. And I knew it would make sense nutrition-wise.
It was fit for life.
What'd you say?
Excuse me. Sorry, Dina. It was me. It was Fit for Life that said, don't eat them together.
Oh, so you have one that says don't eat them together, but they had two scenarios that said eat them together. To eat carbohydrates and protein together. So I just wanted, so the reading I did, basically it goes through the reason that you would combine those two things in a meal is that if your carbohydrate is not a complex carbohydrate, right? So it doesn't have a lot of fiber. Oh, here's Kim now. Kim, you're just in time. We're talking about your book page that you sent me. So if you're eating a carbohydrate that has a lot of it's a simple carbohydrate, so it has maybe more sugars or it might be a higher glycemic index, then when that carb gets to your stomach and is being absorbed, it's going to shoot your insulin levels up. But if you're doing it with a protein, it can settle those levels down, so it's not quite a spike in blood sugar. So that's where it talks about combining things so that you're not getting these highs and lows with your blood sugar. But really the way we eat in our nutrition plans, it's not as critical, even though we do plan these things together. It's not as critical because ours have a lot of fiber coming in already. And so you're not getting that spike with the foods that are on our food list. Does that make sense? So there wasn't like a specific weight loss per se, other than the fact that your body's not having to go into this high blood sugar insulin issue. If you're doing like in Kim's book, it talked about if you have a glass of juice and then eat it with some protein, so it kind of takes down that blood sugar effect. But we don't drink juice on our plan, right? That's like a bottom of the list, once in a while type thing, because juice is definitely a blood sugar spike. You're not getting the fiber. You're just getting the fruit sugars. You might as well have some candy. Right? It's about the same thing. So I hope that makes sense. And then
what? Who said candy? What?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Everybody run and get your M&Ms. No, I'm just kidding. So that's kind of where that talks about some of that. And then that makes sense, obviously, if you're pre-diabetic, diabetic, that you would have a combination of food that doesn't have you going up and down so that you can stay at a more steady level. But there wasn't anything related to it that I read anyway that makes it like unique for weight loss or, it's good to just have that balance for nutrition. So that you're absorbing different nutrients for the fibers, for the way our digestion works. Our digestion is meant to digest diversity, right? It's not like you have to just give it carbs or just give it protein. It can handle a variety of product.
Okay.
So with that, we'll roll into protein today. And I don't have a lot to discuss, like up front. I figured we could kind of have an open discussion about it because I know there's a lot of, conceptions. They're not all misconceptions, right? About protein and how much, when, what, how it works. So just a basic baseline here. Protein minimum is 0.8 grams per kilogram. So we are all in pounds. So you would divide your weight by 2.2, and then you would take that as a minimum times 0.8. That's according to dietary standards, by our US dietary standards. Now, UPF, getting all my things wrong here. UPF is based at 30%. That puts us right around 1.6 grams per kilogram. And that roughly is going to be 30-ish, 30% of your, dietary calories for the day. So when, like I know Sue is NASM trained, when we went through our personal training certifications, they talk a lot about having more protein if you're bodybuilding, if you're trying to build muscle. Those minimums were 1.2 to 2.0. So Autumn has us in a range that is ideal for building and maintaining muscle. And then if you're on a minimum, more sedentary side, maybe, muscle retention is not your goal. It should be. I don't know why it's not, but if it isn't, then you're more at that 0.8 level. And then one of the things I tried to find this formula before I hopped on here today, because I was just reading the other day about how much our bodies can absorb in protein in a meal. And it worked out for me because it was based on your weight. And I want to say it was like 0.4 grams per pound. But whatever it was, it worked out for me to be 21 grams of protein at a meal that my body at my weight should be able to absorb and handle. So the reason I bring that up is a lot of times we'll see things and we'll be really excited about something that's got 30 grams of protein, or we'll be like, if you're combining your Shakeology and your Recover, which I'll go into in a second why you don't want to, but that's going to be 36 grams, right? So if you think about your weight and what you can actually absorb in a sitting, then that's kind of how your meals are planned around, because you want to be able to get the benefit of eating that protein so that you can do it. Joy, what's your dog's name?
This one is Rocky.
Oh, he's adorable. And then Mariana's got her dog too. What's your dog's name?
Agnew.
Oh, they're all so cute. I love it.
Oh,
and there's Lily's got
there's Duke. What's up, buddy?
is Duke
And
tired?
you're not getting food.
Duke's always resting. Lily makes him run
cute.
so far. No.
Uh-oh, I think she's oh, am I frozen?
No, he just likes to rest his head there.
All right, so let's open it up for discussion. Like, what do you want to know about protein? What do you want to talk about with protein? What are your questions?
We're gonna say not to mix your Shakeology and Recover.
Yeah, because 36 grams is too much to absorb. So it really doesn't do you any good. And so your Recover is specifically meant to be a quick release protein with glycogen. That's why it's nice and sweet, so that it gets right into your muscles right away, so that it can replenish and be ready to repair. Recharged is a similar thing, but it's a nighttime protein. It's a slow absorbing protein. So you absorb it through the night as your body is repairing and needs it for repair. And if you've been listening to Roar, which I know a couple of you have Roar, she talks about melatonin, and that she recommends people do tart cherry or sour cherry. I can't remember what it was called, instead of melatonin, because sour cherry helps your body make its own melatonin. Well, that's in our Recharge, which is why you take it at night, because then it also helps you produce melatonin on your own. But I swear every time I read something like this or I hear something, Beachbody products already are doing it. It's really fantastic. Like, it's already in the product, or it's something that's already a part of our nutrition plan. It's always so scientifically based and right in the road of things that are clinically studied and acknowledged. So it's really great. So
are you supposed to have protein at every meal?
Well, I would say, yeah, because that's how you're going to get the amount of protein in. You know, like if you're following Ultimate Portion Fix, you have like I'm on Plan B, and that's 4 proteins. So I eat 4 meals. You
Mhm.
could have a 5th meal to get something else in, but I have 4 meals, so I have a protein with every meal.
Okay.
I have 5. That's a lot.
Yep.
It's hard for me to eat.
Yeah.
Those are, well, how big is the red? Red's 3/4 of a cup.
Yeah, 3
right?
of a cup.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I was already struggling, getting it in. I love meat. The problem is I forget to sometimes eat, or I eat grab for the wrong thing. But yeah, I've been trying to get them all down. I can tell you, and I know we're not talking about veggies. Veggies are killing me right now because that's 5 cups.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. Oh my God, that's a lot of veggies.
I literally
You
always
put
have,
veggies in your Shakeology?
yeah, and I have
Well-
like reach for stuff too that you can add, like grape tomatoes, cucumbers,
No,
stuff you can snack.
Mm-hmm.
No, the reason why is because I got tired of drinking the shakes that my Shakeology's chocolate pudding every day. That's my treat. So that's how I get my Shakeology down.
Okay.
Do you blend it?
But it is, yes, you do bring up a good point. No, I just put it in
You
a
just mix it? Because I
bowl
think
and
you could throw,
pour my almond milk and
yeah, you could throw cauliflower rice in there.
just
And-
mix it in a bowl.
Okay. Because you could do
I can do
cauliflower
what?
rice blend. You could do cauliflower rice, blend it so it's still thick, and then it's all together.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep. Typically, if I just make a huge salad, I can get 3 cups in right there because I'll do 2 cups of whatever greens I've got, and then I'll do a cup of cherry tomatoes. So that's 3. But the problem is I don't always eat a salad every day. So,
Yeah.
but I'm still, at least short 2. So I'm
I
working
eat a
on
lot
it.
of vegetables for breakfast. So that's how I get mine in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes when I was making more omelets, of course, I would get my veggies in that way too. So, but I've kind of changed it up. I finally, by the way, I ate all those pancakes.
Nice.
Stack of pancakes. And Dave liked them too, by the way. So
Awesome.
I didn't tell him there was flaxseed in it until after the fact. He just laughed at me. He's like, okay, what was weird in it? I was like, nothing.
My kids kept waiting for me to say there was some weird ingredient in it too. And I'm like, it's not. It's totally the stuff I would normally put in it. So just eat it. And
Yeah. He said it was heavy. It felt heavy, which that's what was good to me, that I like one big fat pancake. So
Yeah.
he liked it.
I saw,
I really like adding my power greens to my shake because that helps me get one of my vegetables in. So it's easy to add it every morning.
yep, definitely.
Can you taste the power greens in your shake? Can you taste them?
No, nope, I don't.
So Lily, do you go without putting them in there, and can you tell a difference that you're using it or not? Because I've not tried the power greens.
I guess I always have it, so I don't know. I always have it in there. I mean, I have it for every morning for breakfast. I have my shake with my power greens and fiber, and then whatever like fruit I'm going to put in it, and
Okay.
then unsweetened coconut milk or unsweetened macadamia nut milk. So I've been drinking it for so long, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
speaking of pancakes, I saw a shirt that said waffles are just pancakes with abs.
I-
You need to get that for our next funny saying shirt.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, tomorrow is sports day. Don't forget. Whatever sports team you are supporting or want to support in the picture. All right, well, let's dial it back to protein. So, are there any more questions about protein or like source?
Calculation you got to figure out how much protein your body could digest. In
Yeah,
one
I'll see if
meal.
I can find that because let me see if it works out to be, if it was 0.4. See what my calculation comes out to be. No, that's not it. Unless, oh wait, maybe it was kilograms. Oh, nope, that's not it either. Okay, nope. I will see if I can find that calculation. It for most people, it's, going to be around 20. Because I'm 162 or 3 or 1 or whatever day it is. And it was like 21.46 for me.
So that's 21 grams per meal.
Yeah, that's how much I could absorb. That's
of
like
protein?
just a generalization based on my
Okay.
weight. So if I'm trying to eat something
Okay.
that's 30 grams at a sitting, then I'm likely not going to absorb that whole 30 grams.
So then that would turn to fat, right?
No, that's not really
would be
necessarily the
stored?
point. It's just not a benefit. Do you know what I mean? It's not
Okay.
a benefit to beef up your protein at a singular meal or to like have, you know what I mean? If you're kind of bulking your protein toward a single meal, then it's not going to benefit you in the same way as having protein for each of your meals, because then you can absorb more. Same with vegetables. Honestly, if you have all of your vegetables in one meal, there's only so many nutrients you can absorb at one time, and that your body thinks it needs at one time. So then it's just going to flush the rest of the vitamins out, peeing it out, versus absorbing them when it needs it. So if you're doing vegetables with each meal, then you have a better shot at getting those nutrients.
Uh-huh.
So
Wait,
question is,
So, Deanna,
go ahead, Lily.
so I was gonna say, I Googled the optimal protein absorption, and it says take your body weight in pounds and divide it by 2.2 and then multiply it by 0.8.
0.8. Okay, let's try that. So
Multiply
divided by
2.2 and
2.2, that gets you to kilograms.
Take your body weight in pounds and divide it by 2.2 and then multiply it by 0.8.
Oh, I wonder if that's a whole day. That's 58
That's
grams.
probably full day, because it says suggestion for men is 84 to 119 grams, and for women it's 66 to 94 grams.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
because mine's 54.
this is just figuring out how much that's the daily protein minimum you would need in a day. That's what I talked about earlier in the call. So that's not what you're absorbing. That's just what is like a minimum amount to have a day. It's 0.8 grams
Well, yeah,
per
it says
kilogram.
optimal protein absorption.
Well, yeah, but there's a different calculation that actually calculates how much you would absorb in a meal, and I'll find it. So 0.8 grams per kilogram, which is what that formula is like your daily recommended protein. And we go off of 1.6 grams per kilogram in our meal plans. Alana's would be less, but there isn't anything that I've seen assigned to her as a number for what she calculates, but it would be somewhere between, I bet, 0.8 and 1.2 for what she does.
How long does it take your body to absorb, like, Shakeology?
That's a good question.
16 or 17 grams in Shakeology.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll write that down and look into how long protein takes longer to absorb and run through your digestion than carbs are, because carbs it starts breaking down stuff as it's going through, where protein has to get to a certain place and then it starts being broken down. But I'll look and see how long it takes, for things to be absorbed and how long it's in your system.
Is Shakeology a meal, a snack, or something extra?
All
It
of
is
the above.
considered a meal, but that's also however you eat your meals. So it can be a meal, like it can be a meal replacement. I have mine for
Oh,
lunch with
okay.
a veggie and a fruit in it. So it's a veggie fruit protein. And that's my lunch most
Okay.
days. And then I eat other foods for my afternoon snack, which is usually around 3. But I usually just eat leftovers from dinner the night before. And then, or I'll have like my makeup charcuterie plate with my Triscuits and my cheese and tomatoes. And then, yeah, so you can do it however you want. I mean, some people have it after their workout, and maybe it's just the powder with some water. It's a great, if you're not using Recover, it's a great after workout drink too,
Mhm.
because of the protein. And if you add some fruit to it, it's a good replacement.
So is Shakeology mostly protein?
It's not, it is very well balanced. It is, it's
Okay.
about 16 grams of protein. I think there's some that are 17 grams, depending on the flavor. And then your carbs, I want to say are around, I'm going to get this wrong. Is it like 6 or 7, or what are the carbs in Shakeology?
I think it's higher than that.
Is it, or maybe that's what it was after the fiber's taken. No, it's 6 or 7 grams of fiber. So maybe it's 12 grams of carbs. Somebody's going to grab their Shakeology.
Yeah, 17 grams of carbs, 6
Okay.
Thought
grams.
mine was right here, but it's not.
Yeah.
What's the total, the net carbs of that then, Sue?
So
Is
it
it-
Chocolate vegan, is that what you're looking at?
17 grams of carbs and then 6 grams of dietary fiber. So the net would be 11.
11.
So I have chocolate, like regular chocolate, and it's 18. And I have vegan vanilla and it's 15.
Okay.
So it really depends on the flavor,
Mhm.
but it's somewhere in that range. Between, I believe, between 15 and 18. I think they all are.
Okay.
But again, yeah, the dietary fiber, like the vegan that's 15, the dietary fiber is 6. And then
What's the difference between the regular and the vegan?
the protein source.
Oh, okay.
Now it's the protein source.
Yeah, so whey protein is a dairy-based protein that is in regular Shakeology. And then vegan is pea, chia seed, flax. There's a whole blend of different
Okay.
things that create that. They don't really get into the details of it because it's a proprietary
Okay.
blend. But
Okay.
and the difference is that some people have dairy sensitivities. And so on the whey proteins, it can be more harsh. The protein Shakeology uses is the best for not being harsh, but there are some whey proteins on the market that can be really harsh. And so you may just have a problem with that whey protein and not necessarily whey protein in general.
Hmm. So what do you mean by harsh?
Well, you just have some gut issues. You might get some diarrhea. You might have more gas. You might have some stomach pains with it. You just might feel not great with it.
Okay.
I found I was less gassy on the vegan. I know it's great details, right? So I've
I'm
been
right there with you. I just ordered it
I've been on
for
vegan.
that reason.
Yeah, exactly. I've been on vegan for maybe 5 years. I think I did the first year with regular.
Is the taste the same?
It's a little different. It's not nearly as creamy. It's yeah, everybody's shaking their head. It's more, I think people consider it
Okay,
gritty.
pretty.
Yeah, but
A little more
I actually
gritty or
like I like the vegan the best. So I don't like things too creamy. Like I want it fruity and like a I don't know how to describe it. Not like an ice cream smoothie, but more like a fruit smoothie. So
Okay.
Yeah, they're all different. Like even you know, like vanilla to vegan vanilla, they're different. And the
Yeah.
chocolate to vegan chocolate are different. I've not done a side by side of the cafe latte. The tropical strawberry versus the strawberry is definitely different. Like if you don't like banana and you try the tropical strawberry, you will taste that banana, even though, I mean, it's not something that stands out to me, but I don't have like a strong dislike for banana. So it doesn't, you know, stand out to me. But I've had countless people tell me, oh my gosh, that's all I could taste. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
That's one of my absolute favorite ones. Is the tropical.
Oh, me
strawberry.
too. I live
you
off
can-
of that one. Yeah.
You can put so many different fruits in it, and it's just yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not one that we get in our house because nobody, I mean, I like them pretty much all. But for us, we get regular chocolate, vegan vanilla, cafe latte, or I'm sorry, vegan cafe latte. And that's pretty much it that we get like all the time. Plus we get chocolate daily sunshine. But yeah, so that's what we get every single month. We get a lot.
Holy cow.
Well, there's 4 of us drinking it, so
Yeah, so you gotta have 4 different.
Yeah. I do vegan vanilla and then vegan tropical strawberry, and I alternate them.
I just do vanilla because I can put anything and everything in it.
Yeah.
If I
My-
want chocolate, I can just
And
put,
it just
you know,
mixes it with ice and water.
What'd you say?
I said, am I the only heathen that just mixes it with ice and water?
I'll do tropical strawberry with ice and water if I'm traveling, but that's the only flavor that I'll take straight.
so my husband literally shakes his in
Oh.
a shaker cup, and he actually tries to not get it shaken up so that there's chunks in it.
Oh, interesting. So
Yes.
I've steered away from blending mine a lot too, but I'll use mine either with cashew or coconut milk and just shake it.
I'm
I
gonna
know.
have to try that too, because right now I'm just drinking it straight with water and ice, much
Mhm.
like I did my recover, but just not out of the container.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
It's awesome.
but yeah, I'll have to try that with coconut milk. I've
Yeah.
got to go to the store tomorrow anyways, so that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
But what
I
I,
like-
do is 1 cup of milk and then the rest is, so if I need anything more, I'll add water to it as well.
Okay.
So I do like 2 ounces of like cashew milk,
Mhm.
and then I'll do the rest water, and it gives me the creamy without, I mean, like cashew milk, I think for 8 ounces is only 30 calories or something. So honestly, I don't count it as anything because it's 2 ounces. It's barely anything. And so, and I usually do a lot more water than
Yeah,
anything.
and if you do cauliflower
not
rice and
eat
vanilla,
potato chips
the
while I'm
vegan
in a
vanilla, it's
nutrition call,
super
please.
creamy. And then like I'll do a banana in it too, and then it's really, and or if you do a little peanut butter in there too, if you're feeling it, but it's really creamy and good. And I only do water.
Always feeling the peanut butter. Come on.
I know how you guys feel about peanut butter.
It can go in any flavor.
Right, exactly.
If you guys haven't made that peanut butter cookie one yet, or graham, what is it called? Is it called peanut butter cookie or graham? I don't know. It's got graham crackers and peanut butter and like an almond milk and then the vanilla. It is so delicious. It's like a cookie.
Somebody, was it here, they put up a recipe for popsicles, chocolate
Yeah,
popsicle?
I put that in the group.
That sounded good.
There's a ton in the blog too. Like there's mango ones. There's a ton of different popsicles in the blog.
One of my clients has been making, I'm big on half and half, like half of one flavor and half of another, like all the time. Like today, mine was half chocolate, half vegan vanilla, and then blueberries and strawberries. I like separate one serving of fruit. But she has done a Snickers. She's created Snickers. I don't know if she got this recipe from somewhere. I'm trying to figure out what it was. It was half salted caramel. It was half chocolate, half salted caramel, peanut butter, unsweetened almond milk, and ice.
Yum.
And she is like obsessed with this flavor.
Sounds good. And a lot of people get extracts too, and to put in with things
There's
like
so many different flavors you can.
My internet is so bad.
She's frozen, right? It's not just me.
Am I frozen?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's me.
We all thought it was us.
I know.
It's like she's just like,
Am I back yet?
you're back.
Yes.
Get back.
Darn internet. See, this is why I need the AV guy in here.
You left it off at extracts.
Yeah, it's just a lot of, if the like coconut, caramel, you name it, right? There's an extract for anything, and you can really spice up your life with some of that if you want to add them into your Shakeologies. Oh, and they're good for the Wonder Whips too, if you're like your Wonder Whips.
What's that?
So Wonder Whip is Alana's thing where you take a Greek yogurt and then you put some stevia drops in, and then maybe you flavor it in different ways. So you could do some extracts, you could do a few cocoa nibs, you can do some chocolate powder in it.
Peanut butter.
Works out. Peanut butter.
So
Yeah.
And it's a protein.
I always got the sweet leaf stevia drops that have flavors.
Oh, that's a good
And
idea.
those are so good. Like they have a chocolate one, and they have they have caramel, they have fruity ones, or toffee. Chocolate and toffee and caramel were my favorites. That's what I usually got.
stevia leaf drops, you said?
Where are you getting those?
Yes, sweet leaf stevia drops.
Let's see,
They're
maybe
a
probably
sweet
on
leaf
Amazon.
stevia extract. Yeah, you can get them off Amazon. I got them at a local health food store. But yeah, you can get them off of Amazon.
And most stores.
And I like that brand of stevia drops. What?
I was just gonna say,
Most what?
most stores carry, more nutritional foods and things like that now.
Yeah. Well, I like that brand because they don't add in extra sugar alcohols. Like some of the brands add in extra sugar alcohols, and stevia is like a secondary or tertiary actual sweetening agent. They'll have other sugar alcohols as the first and secondary ingredients, and I don't like that. So I really like the Sweet Leaf Stevia brand.
Maybe the refrigerator's open.
I'd like to say something about stevia. I have a book called The Healthy Smoothie Bible, and it talks about artificial sweeteners and sugar. There's like a whole section in there. And she says in the book that stevia is not good. Like she like groups it together with artificial sweeteners. And I read the same thing in the 21-day fix information that we should not be using stevia.
Yeah, there's two different
Are
kinds
you
of
frozen
stevia.
again, Anna?
Am I frozen? Am I back?
Yes,
Okay.
your
So there's,
picture is
We can
frozen.
hear you.
Your
okay.
voice is here.
There's two different kinds of stevia, because there is a stevia that comes from the whole leaf, and that is a better version. And then some of what Beverly was talking about, right? If they've combined stevia with sugar alcohols, then that is something you don't want to have regularly. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic, because Autumn is all whole food, real sugars, coming from fruit and natural foods, versus Alana has some stevia extracts and, or stevia add-ins to sweeten some things here and there. And I think you just have to utilize it. We definitely don't want artificial sweeteners. and you want the best things possible, but not all the time, right? So if you can do a whole leaf stevia product once in a while, then that's going to be fine. But we definitely want to train ourselves on eating those whole foods and not adding sugar, not adding sweetness to foods.
And I'm trying to find a substitute for my iced tea because I drink a lot of iced tea. Any suggestions? Because I saw somebody in the chat in the bottom like a few weeks ago mention organic cane sugar. Do you recommend that or no?
No, have you tried Bevy yet? We do have a tea that has fiber in it. And if you have one a day, you don't have to count it. I think it's delicious. And there's pomegranate and there's lemon. So it's more like an iced tea. The lemon's more like iced tea and the pomegranate's more like a fruity tea. And that would be a really good option. I would say if you're going to do like a regular tea, I would just continually minimize the amount of sugar you're putting in. So you could do like a honey or a maple syrup, something that doesn't change your blood sugar as much, something that's a little more, what you call, I guess, natural sugar. But then just kind of keep toning that amount down to get it down to a minimal place.
The way I used to drink iced tea is I make a pitcher, or I do make a pitcher at a time because I do drink a lot of it in the evening. Or I shouldn't say a lot, but like a cup or two. And I would add a cup of sugar to my pitcher.
Wow. That's a
So
lot.
it's a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
So I bought some organic cane sugar and I cut it in half and I put half a cup, and it's not as sweet as I like it, but it's doable. But I still don't know if it's a good, option to be using because honey does not dissolve in cold iced tea. And it would cost me a fortune. It would cost me a fortune in honey to try and sweeten an entire pitcher of iced tea.
Right. Yeah.
I think honestly, my opinion is that if you're able to currently tolerate the tea with what you have right now, to work with that, and as your body becomes as your palate and gut becomes happy with that, work on like bringing it down a little bit more. Like as your body accepts it and feels like, oh, this is actually good, because it will eventually do that. It's just that our palates are so overstimulated with sugars and salts and fats that like we actually practically deaden taste buds because they're just so like basically going crazy, and they don't taste the sweetness that is naturally occurring in the foods because of all the extras. So as your body will adapt to that, then just start to gradually bring it down. That would be my recommendation, because I'm more on make the changes that you're able to remain consistent in, rather than trying to like do something that you're unhappy with, because you're not going to stay with what you're unhappy with long term. And if you can continue down the road of like, okay, I can deal with this, it will become, okay, this isn't actually that bad, to, okay, I can probably reduce it a little bit again. And that's just that's my line of thinking. That's how I got to where I am and how I've worked my family into the whole entire thing. I just didn't do like a whole big jump at one point. I just gradually made changes that we could remain consistent in.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
I 100% agree with that. That's how I operate too. When I started losing weight, I just decided I was going to make everything from scratch so that it wasn't processed. Like that was my first focus. Stop eating out of a box, stop eating, fast food, things like that. And then I started, paring down the sugars. I took soda out. There's all kinds of things, and if you've already cut it in half at this point, which is great, right? And it's still doable. You still feel like you're getting what you want. The difference between, you know, like, I don't know what the differences are specifically between an organic cane sugar and a regular white sugar. There's processing involved, but you know what I mean? The goal would just be to just keep paring it down so that you can get to a lower amount of sugar, period. And still feel like you get what you want.
Yeah, I had to do something similar. This is, I mean, I also really enjoy sweet tea. But that was not my vice. My vice was Starbucks with the hazelnut sweetener. Because they don't tell you how much sugar is in there. It could probably kill a small animal.
Yeah.
And I was like, but this is really good. And so what I would have to do is, because they put in, depending upon your cup size, it's between 4 to 6 pumps of that sweetener. And so what I started doing is I would just like decrease. So if it like recommended 4 pumps, I would say, okay, well, I'm only going to do like 3 for the next, like however many times. We don't need to talk about my Starbucks habit. That's not what this is for. But then I would reduce it down. And eventually I got to the point now where I don't put any sweetener in it. So it's just like stepping down, but it does take time. And I would recommend Bev and Deanna both how they were talking about just like slowly stepping out of it instead of quitting it cold turkey. Because if you do, you're going to go back. I mean, yeah, I feel your pain because man, I do love some sweet tea. I was putting Splenda in mine though, so maybe I have to go back to white sugar. I don't know. That does sound good.
Sorry for that really long link. I didn't know it was gonna be that long, but it's to an article I put in my group a little while ago. It just ranks the sugars in this order. So if you want to read the whole article, you can click on that big link. But
awesome, thanks. That's interesting. It puts stevia above honey and maple syrup, because I think Autumn would disagree. I am definitely maple syrup most. It's one of my 2 bunnies. Maple syrup most.
You know, Deanna, that might
coffee second.
Deanna, that might be a good topic for a future call, is all the sugars. And
yeah, and we should talk about the names. Yeah, like what the names of artificial sugars are, because there's so many that they put it under. So yes, we will definitely. I would be maybe we'll hit fats next week, and then we'll hit the sugars after that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
I clicked through to that author. It doesn't look like it's Dr. Oz, or, you know, it's just a random fitness person. So I don't know how much, but she does talk about why they're ranked. She ranks them like that. So
this is dumb, but once we're off this call, can I still access that link somehow?
I don't know, but you know, maybe,
just open it.
You could
open it now.
Yeah, or I can send it to
put
you.
It in the recording.
I think I have.
Like it when I post the recording.
You know, now that I put that up there, I mean, I'm not sure that the author is an expert. So
okay.
Now that I am looking more at the article, but
I've actually done. I did an article. Gosh, I can't even tell you how many years ago it was. I did a blog article on it, on sugars, because of my son, and because he was very sensitive to sugars, and stevia was the only sweetener that he did not have a reaction to. And I mean, it had to be real stevia. And so we didn't even use like the white stevia that they make. We have actual ground stevia leaf that we would use. And then, the sweet leaf stevia brand of drops. But the thing is that, sorry, my husband's crinkling something right there. But the thing is that, so stevia is so much sweeter than sugar that's why they say that it's so similar to like an artificial sweetener, because that's what artificial sweeteners and also there's 0 calories. And so that in itself causes, it has the same type of reaction in the body, but at the same time, it's not artificially derived. So the body, while the response is the same, the effect on the body is not the same as the artificial sweeteners do. So that's kind of confusing, what I just said, but yeah.
Person, like if you're eating on UPF or 21-day fix, is that not approved? Because I realized this week that sucralose is a hard no for
Hard no. Yeah.
I learned that, and now I'm a little like.
I mean, I think stevia is listed on the approved sweetener list. It's just that
it is.
It's really all about doing as much whole food as possible and not adding extra sweetness where you can, if that makes sense, right? You're just, because depending on how you ate before, you may have had a lot of sweets happening. And so there's going to be a pare down process, but it's getting to the point where you're just eating the real foods without having to change them so much.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, so like, I guess what I could say is in comparison, so a teaspoon of ground stevia leaf is the equivalent. Isn't it a teaspoon, babe, or is it a tablespoon? Look at our thing. Oh, okay. I think it is. I think it's a teaspoon. I would have to look. It's either a teaspoon or a tablespoon is the equivalent to a cup of sugar of ground stevia leaf. And it's even more potent in the extract. So whereas like I see, people will put like 30 drops of stevia in their coffee and it's like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of sweetness that your mouth is having to figure out what's going on. So what I always say is start like with just like 5 drops and see if that's sweet enough. And then, just build up until okay, this is where it's at. Like maybe it's 12 or something, and then try to reduce the amount of drops that you would need if you're using an added sweetener like stevia, because it is so much sweeter than regular sugar.
Yeah, I didn't like the taste of the stevia. It tasted artificial to me. I tried it. I bought some and I just really do not. I mean, I really tried for like a week. Like maybe I just need to adjust to this or something. And I just really do not like it. The raw honey is kind of my go-to. It's just very expensive. And so I'm like, okay, maybe I can come up with something different at least for my iced tea. I've adjusted to my creamer in my coffee using the almond milk. And I've gotten away from pop, haven't had it. I was a big fast food junkie, haven't touched it in a month, and all that I'm doing great with. I don't even miss it.
Awesome.
That is really awesome.
See, you're making great strides already. Be really excited about those because those are huge, huge changes. And that's where it really matters. It's like you're not going to be exactly where you need to be this second, but those changes get you there. And you feel better while you're doing it, right? Because you definitely change your palate along the way. Like my kids make fun of me all the time because they're like, oh, mom won't eat that. It's going to be too sweet for her. But they wouldn't have said that 10 years ago. I'd have eaten a pile of sugar, but it definitely takes time to just change your palate.
Another one is coconut sugar. And I noticed that article actually mentions coconut sugar as being an option. It doesn't respond the same in your body. It doesn't spike your insulin quite as fast. Now to me, it isn't as sweet as cane sugar, but it doesn't have stevia has a very, it has an aftertaste. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like it has an intense sweetness, but it has a different flavor, and it's definitely a flavor that you have to either get used to it or you won't ever be able to do it. But it's the same thing. I mean, I know people that use like Equal and Sweet and Low, and those have those funky flavors to them, and they tolerate those. I was never able to tolerate those. They actually give me a headache every time I ever had it. Gave me a headache. Yeah. So and then come to find out that is a common side effect artificial sweeteners.
Beverly,
So,
you were saying the ground stevia leaf. I was growing stevia at one point, and
Yes.
I would taste it, and it's like really sweet, but I didn't know what to do with it as a leaf.
You just go, you dry it and then grind it up into like a powder.
Oh,
Like
really?
it's, yeah, like it would be, you know, like something in your spice cabinet.
So you have to dry it first.
Yeah, or you can buy it that way. I mean, I've bought it off of Amazon. I bought organic ground stevia leaf. It's relatively inexpensive, to be quite honest, when you
Mhm.
buy it in bulk.
Do they sell it in a regular grocery store?
They do now. With maybe not
They
the
don't in mine.
but they'll sell. I would think they'd sell regular like a stevia that's from whole leaf.
You're
You
freezing.
cut out.
Dang
Yeah,
it.
you cut out, Tiana.
Am I back?
I know.
Say it again.
Am I back?
You'll just have to look at your grocery store, because honestly, like mine, so they do sell, they say that it's ground stevia, or they say it's stevia, like it's a bag of stevia, but it has other stuff in it other than stevia.
Would you have to go to a health food store to find it?
I mean, you might be able to find it at a health food store. I mean, everybody's, you know, like, it just depends on where you live. I know for me, I don't live in the biggest metropolitan area.
Mhm.
So, like if I go into St. Louis, I can go to Whole Foods and they probably have actual ground stevia leaf where I could buy it somewhere in a bag or in a.
What about
something.
Trader Joe's? Would they have it?
No.
No. Really?
I've not ever seen ground stevia leaf. Like it's
Okay.
literally like green. And most of the stevias that I've seen they sell are white.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And to me, then it's like, okay, why? Because stevia is green. So
Yeah.
it's like, what are you doing to get it to be white?
Mm.
So because it's usually not just stevia. So
Oh, okay. Good to know.
and yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you can get it off of Amazon I mean, I swear I bought like a big bag of it for less than $10, I want to say. So, I mean, if you really wanted to try it out, you can definitely find it on Amazon.
Mhm.
All right. Well, we only have a few minutes left. Lily, how close are you?
I think my husband is trying to find a barbecue place.
Oh, you have to go to Pecan Lodge.
Oh.
They have the most amazing banana
What
pudding.
is it?
Pecan Lodge. It's right in that, I don't remember what the
Oh.
neighborhood's called. It's right in downtown Dallas.
Oh, we're north of there. We're north
Oh,
of
okay.
downtown. So, we'll be there soon though. But I think my husband is finding barbecue first.
Good plan.
So when you get there, you'll have to take a picture and put it up on the.
Yeah, put it in the group that you guys got that we can see.
We will for sure.
So are there any questions
All right,
that I
sounds
can
good.
do for next week? Or because we're already at 6 o'clock. This discussion went from protein to Shakeology to sugar. It was good.
Yeah.
So is there anything you guys want to know about that I can look up for next week? Otherwise, next week I was planning on talking about fats, and we can talk, I can find some articles. I'm going to put a protein article in here too. When I put the recording in the group, I'll just put the article below it. It just talks a little bit about the protein percentages
Good.
and how that all works. So,
Okay.
all right, if not, we'll take a picture. Let me get my camera ready. All right, we ready? Oh, hang on, I've got a glare. All right, cheese. Good job, you guys.
Yay. Happy group.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deanna.
Thank you, Deanna.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys. All right, I can't wait to see the
We'll see you
reunion
tomorrow.
video. I want to see slow motion running up to Kelly.
Be watching this live video.
All right. See you guys
Sounds good.
later.
Bye, guys.
All right, bye.